everyone and welcome to the start of this vlog, the first vlog of 2025. The theme of this vlog is starting the year off right. I'm going to be doing all of the things that get me in a best, most productive space for January. I'm feeling full of energy. I'm feeling full of life actually, which is really nice after being ill over the Christmas period. And I'm going to carry that forward with my reading as well. My idea for this vlog is that I'm going to be rereading my favourite books, but we're going to be seeing if they're actually still my favourite or not. I really wanted to start the year off with some 5-star reads, or try and get as close to guaranteed 5-star reads as I can. And what better way to do that than to start off by reading books that I already know that I love. I never know if something's a favourite of mine until I've reread it a few times. So that's what we're doing today. Let me go through some of the TBR for this video. What I'm actually going to do is go through my story graph and click on all of the books that I've ever given 5 stars and then go through and like pick my favorites of those ones. I think I will limit myself to like 4 books for this vlog because it's just too much to do more than 4. I already know what one of them's going to be because I'm just about to start it. Okay, so this is story graph. How do I do this? All time. Okay, so it's gonna redo for all time, and then if you go, oh my god, I did not realize that I'd read so many books in my life. That's kind of crazy. These are for some fun stats, but it's not what we're looking for today. Okay, my average rating is 3.56. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty normal, I would say. And how many books have I rated? Oh my god, I've rated 71 5 stars. That's kind of crazy. Okay, let's see. This is a potential, but I already have reread this many times. This is starts it off with The Name of the Wind. A Room of One's Own, I could definitely, okay, I'm gonna like click them as options and keep them there. Secret Garden, I could reread. Okay, that's an option. The Golden Enclaves, I won't read like any last ones in the series. This one I recently reread, so I won't be doing that one. Senile Innocence, I only kind of recently finished this series. The Dispossessed, this one I would reread, but I only just finished it a couple of months ago. I Have Never Known Men, okay, that's a great one. I want to have that as an option. Mrs. Dalloway is another great option. Actually, out of that and A Room of One's Own, Mrs. Dalloway, I think, is the better option. Stillborn, another one that I would be interested in rereading. Song of Achilles. This one I'm less like curious about in a way because I feel like I know I would love it. Oh my god, Braiding Sweetgrass. Okay, that might be a good option as well, having a non-fiction on there. Betty, I don't think I can emotionally reread that right now. Lots of series here. You Mean the Nightmare Painter? But I think I'm already doing a different Brandon Sanderson one. Oh, this one, Sky Day. That's a really good option because I loved this. So this is the series that I am rereading. I reread The Way of Kings in in December to prepare to read The Words of Radiance. My favourite out of the Stormlight Archives is Words of Radiance, the second one, or at least that's what I think. Okay, I'm skipping down a bit, but this is another option. I love this book and that could be one of my all-time favourites, but I do want to reread it. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, Transcendent Kingdom, that could be an option too. This Tale is Time Where, I do also love that one. That one might be an option as well, and I haven't read it since 2021. Okay, so we already know my first book that I'm going to be reading in this vlog is Words of Radiance, a big chunky one. I feel like for the rest of the TBR I'm not going to be doing fantasy and I'm not going to be doing massive long series because I've already got this kind of locked in. I'm not going to reread Stillborn because I read that literally in 2024. Next I'm going to go through and see which one did I read the longest ago. So Mrs. Dalloway I read in 2020 and I actually have a very, very beautiful copy of it, so let me get it. This is the Mrs. Dalloway book I have. And actually my gorgeous friend Alice got this for me. Now I'm looking at this, I think this is definitely going to be the one that I'm rereading. Basically, it is the book. It is Mrs. Dalloway, but it's an annotated version. So like alongside the actual book that you're reading, there's photos, there's maps, there's loads of footnotes. And I just feel like this is the way to do a reread, you know? So since we have a classic and we have a fantasy, I think I won't reread The Secret Garden because that's another classic. We're kind of like covering that with Mrs. Dalloway. Which one shall I pick out of that? I wish I could do like a live poll so that you guys could see. Or like I wish that like I could do it on Instagram or something, but I don't think enough people from my vlogs like would watch my Instagram. And that's not me telling you to go and follow my Instagram or anything. I just mean I wish I had like a quick poll feature for my YouTube people to let me know what to do in a way. Okay, just looking at all these other options, I've made another decision of the third book that I'm going to do, and I've based it on basically I think not enough people read this book, and I remember absolutely falling in love with it. I want to like shine a spotlight on it in a way, because the other books in this list are already pretty beloved and popular. So the next book that I'm going to be doing is dun, 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 this one, Sky Day. Absolutely gorgeous, and I will tell you all about these books as well as we go through the vlog. So that means we have kind of two more choices. Oh my god, I'm falling over. I'm kind of now deciding between these two books, and I don't know which one to pick. I love them both. This one, I've Never Known Men, is dystopian and kind of strange and a bit more ambiguous. This one is a sci-fi, it's a romance, it's poetic. They are so beloved to me, and I don't know which one to go for. Also, because they're both quite short, I'm like really tempted just to read both for this vlog. Maybe I will, maybe I just will. They're both short. I could read one in a day probably. Maybe 5 books is more of like a nice round number than 4. I genuinely can't pick between the two. I think I'm gonna add both. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna add both. So we have officially our stack of books for this video. So the first one is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. The second book we're doing is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Mrs. Dalloway is, I think, the first example maybe, or like at least she made it famous, like the stream of consciousness style writing. Maybe that's a complete lie, but it's the way that I have heard about stream of consciousness writing is from Mrs. Dalloway, because in this book you are following Clarissa Dalloway as she goes about her life preparing for a party, and it takes place over a pretty short period of time. I think it's just one day, and you kind of hop between her mind and the mind of like some of the people in her life and her guests at this party. Now the third book that I'm going to be reading for this vlog is This One, Sky Day by Leonie Ross, and I've never read another book by this author actually, but I was obsessed with this book when I read it. I absolutely loved it. It was for the 2022 Women's Prize for Fiction like long list that I was reading at the time, and that was the best year, by the way. 2022 Women's Prize hasn't had a better year since. So it's this archipelago. I literally never know how to say that word, but it's following this group of islands called Papisho, and basically on these islands everybody is born with a kind of gift from the gods, and it can be something like really small and innocuous, or it can be that you can always tell when someone's lying. And basically you're following throughout this one day on this island and a few different characters, and I just love how whimsical this was, but also really deep. I just was obsessed with the island, and I can't wait to reread this again. Next up we have This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is, like I said, a sci-fi romance, and it's written very poetically. It's basically between these two agents on either side of a time war, and the letters that they write to each other aren't normal letters. They're like letters that can only be read once you cut down and read the rings of like a tree trunk that's 1,000 years old. And then finally, I Have Never Known Men. This is following a group of 40 women, but one of them is a child, and they are stuck in this underground bunker, and they don't know why they're there or how long they've been there for. All they know is that they are being observed night and day by guards. I don't want to spoil also what happens, because it's just like so good, but also I feel like I'm going to get so much more out of a reread from this one that I did originally. It can be very ambiguous, especially the ending. This is going to be the stack. Okay, good morning everyone. After deciding this gorgeous TBR for this video, I also wanted to talk about the other things I'm going to be trying to do to get me on track for the most productive January I've ever had. I want to be focusing on sleep. I want to be focusing on getting up early and going on a walk every single day. But also, it's a good time to talk about Magic Mind. So this is the second time that I've worked with Magic Mind. Magic Mind are these little productivity shots. I've already been drinking them, but so I really like taking these shots in the morning because they have slow release caffeine in them, but they're also like jam-packed full of ingredients that help you manage stress. So they give you more of like a calm, energized feeling. So I've already worked with Magic Mind last year and absolutely loved when I took the shots for an extended period of time, because they really made me feel so much more energized in the morning. And especially now that I'm really working on my sleep schedule, I'm going to be going to bed at 10 p.m. every night, which doesn't sound early for some people, but it is early for me, and then waking up every morning and going for a long walk. And these are being so helpful to help me get out on that walk, and then for the rest of the day I just feel so much better and so much more energized. So if any of you are interested in trying out Magic Mind, which I do highly recommend, then for the first time the 24-hour sleep and focus pack is 45% off if you click the link in the description of this video. So if you're looking for a way to invest in your health, in your mental clarity this January, then give Magic Mind a try. And I have not actually yet had my shot today, so let's take it together, because also they're very delicious. They taste kind of like mixed between passion fruit and matcha. It's like an actually tasty green juice. So thank you so much Magic Mind for sponsoring this video. Today's plan, after I've had my shot, is to go out on a walk, then come back, and I'm going to be focusing on reading today. And I'm going to be starting this vlog reading Brandon Sanderson's Words of Radiance. I'm really excited to jump into this one. I have already reread, obviously, the first in this series last month. And honestly, the whole time I was actually thinking, it's not as flawless as I remember it to be. And it's quite interesting, even though I love the books very subjectively, obviously, I can now, this is like my fourth read through or something, I think, for these first books, and I can now look back and think, this is so fun and so great for me, but I can actually see why people wouldn't love this. But for me, you just cannot beat the plotting and the world building. If you don't know about this series, it is an epic fantasy series set in a world that is ravaged by these high storms, and you're following multiple different characters around this whole world. You're following a slave in an army, you're following a scholar who's turning into a thief, you are following the general of an army, and so many other characters, and I just absolutely love these. So I'm going to be starting Words of Radiance for this vlog, and then the next one, I'm actually going to be reading this on my Kindle though, and then I'm going to be reading this one physically first, because I'm really in the mood for a bit of romance. Haven't read any romance in ages. This one I think is going to be so much fun. So I'm going to be starting with This Is How You Lose a Time War, but this one on my Kindle. Usually I read my Kindle at night and then books, physical books, like during the day, like at lunch and stuff. So that's the plan for this vlog. I have been reading, but I've also been playing this game. Has anyone else been playing Infinity Nikki? I have been playing this game so much and I love it. It's all about making cute outfits. But I've also been reading, and I've been reading Words of Radiance, and I am loving it. Already I'm like so back into this series and back into this world. Obviously I just finished the book 1, and like I said, like I still loved it, but I was like, it was a little bit more flawed than I remember. But the second book I'm loving even more. I think it's because it's focusing on my favorite character, which is Shallan, or Shallan, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, I say Shallan. And a lot of stuff is like kicking up into gear, and the world is like expanding rapidly, and I'm loving it. Although I won't be doing much reading tonight because I'm actually going out for my friend's birthday, so maybe I'll get some clips of that, maybe I won't, who knows. So we won't be doing any reading tonight. I'm already late. There is this, obviously I would wear it with tights, I'm not insane, it is January. I do trousers because it's so cold. Okay, I am wearing the dress in the end. It's a little short, but it'll do. And predictably, I am late, but it's fine. We're gonna rush and I'll make it there. Wait, look at my glitter nails that I did. I didn't like them, but kind of like them now in this light. Good morning. It's raining. I'm hungover. We're not letting that stop us staying on a good track and getting a walk in. I'm about to go on my morning walk. It's about 9 a.m. I think this will heal me or it'll break me. But I had a wonderful time with my friends. So much dancing was done, so much merrymaking, but I am feeling it now. Quite tired. So today is going to be a sofa day, which I'm really excited about. Like a guilt-free day on the sofa where I'm going to read, I'm going to chill, I'm going to drink lots of tea, and I can do all of that once I do my walk. So let's go. I'm out. It's horrible weather, but I've got my tea. Some masala chai is keeping me going. The park is empty because no one else wants to be out on a rainy Sunday morning. This is mainly rain right now, not actually tea anymore. I am back from my walk. I'm about to sit down on the sofa and do an hour of mindful reading, like where I'm going to read consistently for an hour, and I'm starting this book. I'm very excited. We're gonna see what I think of it after all this time and if it's still a favorite. Okay, so let's see how many pages I can get done in an hour. So it's been roughly an hour. I have been reading. Good news, I love it. It's exactly how I remember. It's actually, I think, better than last time I read it because I know what's going on more this time. Part of the confusion is the fun of it, and because it's written in a kind of complicated way, that is still fun, and there's still little mysteries to unravel. And just like the sentences on a sentence level, every sentence is interesting, which can feel a little bit like there's no rest almost. I think because it's such a short book with short chapters, it's just really works. Like, it just really, really works for me. I love it. I love the letters. I love the strangeness. And I love the slow burn, like, as these two, you know, rivals begin to feel for one another. So I got up to page 66 in an hour. I am so sleepy, though. I literally won't have to have a nap. I will continue reading as well after a little break. I might be able to finish it today. I'm reading it pretty fast. It's only 200 pages. I'm already 66 pages in. Okay, I did fall asleep for a while, but I also made it to over halfway of this book, and I'm still absolutely loving it. But now it's time for lunch. Let's make some food. I'm gonna have this cauliflower and kale soup. Here's lunch with extra cheese and added broccoli in it. Delish. I've still been reading. I'm getting near to the end. I'm on page 150, and I just came across my favorite quote that I remembered from last time I read it. Maybe I'll read it to you. Maybe it's a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. It's, you know, it's a romance. It's just a romantic quote. Maybe I'll put it on screen. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'll write it in waves, in skies, in my heart. You'll never see, but you will know. I'll be all of the poets. I'll kill them all and take each one's place in turn. And every time love's written in all of the strands, it will be to you. I love that quote. I don't know why, there's so many beautiful quotes in this book. It's filled up with beautiful quotes. But something about that one specifically and the place it comes in the book is, like, really hits me, and I just really like it. Honestly, this book is making me tear up. It's so lovely. I might just finish it now, even though I've been reading it all day, but I've obviously read it very quickly. But I kind of want to finish. I just, like, especially with where the book's getting to now. Just finished it. Still a favourite. Obviously, I love it. I love the ending, I love the characters, I love the writing. 100% still a favourite, still a 5-star, something I can wholeheartedly recommend. Tonight I'll probably just carry on reading Words of Radiance, and then tomorrow we will start a new book, and I'm excited. This vlog is already going so well. I'm having a great time. Good morning, everyone. It's the next day. I'm just back from my walk, and I had a lovely little walk, even though it's raining again. But it has actually cleared up just now I finished. The mission for today, drink 3 of these things of water because that's essential and I'm always dehydrated, and continue reading. I did continue the Words of Radiance last night. I'm now over a third of the, I'm like 31% through that book, and I've decided that the next book that I'm going to be reading physically for this vlog is going to be, one second, this one right here, Mrs. Dalloway, the annotated version. I was actually listening to, on my walk on audio, I was listening to the introduction for this book, because I realised when you reread classics, you can, like, the fun part about it is you get to read the introduction. Normally, obviously, you skip the introduction because it's just, like, full of spoilers for the book. I'm going to start this book today, and I'm going to see how I enjoy reading it annotated. Not sure what, like, the process would be. Like, do I read the page and then kind of, like, dart around and, like, read all the annotations at the same time? I don't know. It'll be fun. I'll see what's gonna happen. Now we have to get some work done. I need to sit down at my desk and, like, get myself organised. I was just about to give you an update, and then this little girl walked in the room. Ignore my floors, by the way. I actually have ordered some flooring, so eventually this room will be finally finished and have floors in them, which would be really nice. She's so sleepy. But anyway, I have started the Mrs. Dalloway. I've just been sitting here and reading a bit. I'm like about 30 pages in. It's really interesting to read it with annotations. To be honest, my first impressions of the annotations is like about 50% of them are really interesting and about 50% of them I'm not interested in. So I'm just skipping through the annotations that aren't as interesting to me. And I think going forward, I will just read the book, and then if I think the annotation for that particular sentence might be interesting, I'll just scan it and then read it if it's interesting. Because otherwise it takes a really long time to read, and also really just takes you out of the story, because some of the annotations are like a page long, you know, and that's too long to be out of the story for and thinking about something else, especially if it's not that interesting, if it's about like one specific street in London and its historical significance. I don't know. I'm much more interested in the stuff that's like, oh, in a previous version it was kind of like this and she changed it because it's this and this, and like more about Virginia Woolf's life. They're the interesting ones and enjoying it so far, but yeah, I might be skipping some of the annotations. Okay, I have finished work for the day. I've done no extra reading. I'm going to bring this downstairs with me and do a little bit more reading before I make some dinner. Also, I've only had one of these water bottles today. My aim is 3, so we need to get going because it's 6 p.m. Good morning. I've just woken up, as you can probably tell. Do you like my new pajamas, by the way? Got them for Christmas. I absolutely love them. I didn't do too well with reading. I read more of Words of Radiance last night, but I didn't read much more of Mrs. Dalloway. I'm about 30 pages into that, so I'll read more today, but I really need to focus on work today. Something about January, like, I feel like so full of goals and like things I want to get done, but then it kind of overwhelms me in a big way. And I feel like panicked that I'm always behind, but I'm like, it's only the first week of January, chill out. But you know, I'm like feeling behind already. So I need to just take it easy and just start getting some work done and like just chill out about it a bit. And I'm gonna go out on my walk now. Here's Amisi for everyone else to say hi. How are you this morning, darling? I am back from my walk and I actually started to listen to Mrs. Dalloway on audio again because I wasn't in the mood to start any other book on audio. So I just thought I would like listen to some of that and I could get it from my library really easily. So I just started listening to it and it's been really, really nice. I do love it on audio. But yeah, I listened to quite a good chunk of it while I was out on my walk today. So now I've just checked in this copy, about halfway through, which is kind of crazy. I'm just gonna pop you there. So I'm actually gonna flick back through for the bit that I've already read and read some of the annotations like as I'm listening to it. That I think will be like the most fun way of reading this book. I'm just putting on this lip stain, although it doesn't really stain very well. You do have to be a bit precise. Oh God, just as I say that, I get it everywhere. So I'm actually gonna film a video now, because we're rapidly losing the light. It looks like it's lovely and sunny in here, but it just keeps coming and going. And the sun will set probably imminently. I'm doing a terrible job of drinking water. I have not drunk even one today, so I need to get onto that as well. I'm gonna just let that dry for a second and see if it stains my lip. Okay, I've just filmed a video. My throat is dry because I've talked for genuinely like an hour and I have not drank any water yet today. I need to now do a few emails and like admin bits and just like do some work, and then I will do more reading later in the day. Morning everyone. I am on my way to go and see a friend for coffee. That's going to be so nice. I'm sorry about sirens. I have been doing some reading actually. Not much progress on Mrs. Dalloway. Still loving it though. Gonna actually listen to some of it on my journey now. I just walked past this. Have you ever seen anything more tempting? Especially because I got £30 Waterstones voucher for Christmas. Actually didn't get any footage at all of a coffee with my friend. It was lovely to catch up. Should I go in or should I not? I'm actually going to bookshop tomorrow with my friend Alice, so I think I'm gonna be brave and not go in. I have to go and return something, so I'm on a walk. I'm gonna be so brave and not go in. I got enough books for Christmas, didn't I? Don't need more. That's a joke, obviously, I always need more. This is actually my favourite Waterstones. It has this lovely cafe and it's absolutely massive. The Waterstones on Gower Street. Made it to John Lewis, managed to effectively return something, and now I'm just having a little browse because they've got a massive sale. Loads of stuff is like 60% off, so why not? Hello vlog, I just got home and I actually did end up buying stuff today, and I never buy things, so shall I show you what I got? There was a really good sale on. I tried on a few things, didn't love most of it. What I really needed was a bra, which I did buy, which I'm not showing you, and also exercise leggings, which I never buy workout clothes ever, but when I do, I try and get really good quality ones, just because I've tried so many that are so bad, and like I'll spend 20 quid on a pair of leggings and then they'll just be absolutely ruined in like, you know, just 6 months, like, and it's just worthless. So I try and wait until really good brands get good sales, and Sweaty Betty had a sale on. So I managed to get some of their leggings that are like usually like 100 quid, which is nuts. But I got these for £40. Let me lay them out for you. Maybe I'll show you. Who cares about this? I don't know. Does anyone care? Yeah, I got these lovely, like, they look quite dark blue actually in this light. They're kind of a bright blue actually. lovely pair of Sweaty Betty leggings, and they've got the side pockets that is just the most useful thing. My previous pair of Sweaty Betty, I think I got them like 4 years ago and they still look perfect. And yeah, I also got a bra that I'm not showing you. Sorry guys, we're not that type of channel over here. I also managed to finish, because I was just walking around so much, I ended up actually finishing Mrs. Dalloway, and it was so good. I really, really loved it. It kept me so much company today. And also it was lovely listening to it while I was walking around London, because there's so many instances of the characters themselves walking around London and kind of like observing other people and like having realizations about like humanity and like what's important and that kind of stuff. So it was really, really fun, and I just loved listening to it as an audiobook again. I am going to flick through the annotated version, but honestly reading the introduction was really lovely this time. Oh my god, Misa, she's just like having the best time. But yeah, easily still a favorite. Just love the dreamlike feel of it, and it can feel sometimes a little bit sleepy, but in such a fun way, and I really, really enjoyed it reading it again. But that means we have to start another book already. I'm like storming through this vlog. I'm doing so well. So these are our other two options for the next books to start. I Have Never Known Men and this one, Sky Day. I really just want to start this one for some reason. I'm like really in the mood for this kind of like more dreamy vibe than the dystopian. So I think I'll start this one next. This is the one I'm most nervous about rereading because I don't know, like not many people know it, not many people love it like I do. So I feel like a lot is riding on this reread to see if it becomes like a true favorite or not, because I'm nervous, you know, like sometimes when you just finish a book and you go, yeah, 5-star favorite, but then when you reread it's the true test of like, oh, is this going to be like your favorite forever? So this one I'm most nervous about, but I'm kind of also really excited to reread it because it's the one that I kind of like have the most questions around. Like the other ones I'm like, I know this is going to be good. Also they're like so well known and so well beloved, it would be very strange if I didn't love them. But this one I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I'm going to sit down now. I've just made a cup of tea and I'm going to get some work done, but I might like put something cozier on because it's very, very cold. Okay, I am in bed, all cozy, gonna start this book, and I'm so excited, but I'm kind of nervous. I'm just gonna read the first chapter because at night normally I've been reading the Words of Radiance, but I'm gonna read the first chapter of this because I'm excited. I'll tell you how I think about it tomorrow morning. Hi vlog, can I just say I have been doing so well in this vlog. I'm having the best time, honestly. I've been reading this book and I'm loving it. It's so good. I'm actually already almost halfway, even though this is like almost a 500-page book. I'm breezing through it and I love it. Like, and I'm most surprised also just by how much I love it. It is such a vivid, imaginative, wonderful book. I love the characters. I love the writing. I remember it enough that I'm feeling like very relaxed while reading it, but also I don't remember a lot about the specifics or the plot. Like I can't quite remember how it all comes together. So I'm still really excited when I'm reading it. I've also been going to bed every night at 10 p.m. I've been going on a walk every morning. I've been having my little magic mind shots every day. And I've been drinking 3 bottles of water every single day. I'm having a great time. Honestly, I'm thriving. This is like so unusual for me, but I honestly think it's also all down to just me focusing on reading my favorite books. Absolutely obsessed with this one. I will talk to you more about it when I finish it, but it's just, oh, it's so wonderful. It's not for everyone. I have to say that, but the people it is for will love it. Like it's kind of a hit or miss, I think, for most people. For me, perfect. It's literally perfect. So I'm actually behind on drinking water. I need to drink a lot more water today. I've just finished up doing some work. Gonna finish all of this water and then do some more reading because I'm obsessed with this book. Good morning, everyone. I've woken up a bit early today so that I can get some reading in before I start my day, before I go on my walk, before I do all my other healthy habits. Because I got to about 65% through this book last night, I am racing through it just because I love it so much. Oh my god. I'm going to do a full review, obviously in my wrap up and maybe at the end of this vlog, talking about how much I love this book, but just suffice to say, I'm enjoying it so much. But I'll probably finish that today, which is really fun, and it means I'll get to start the last video for this vlog, which is I Have Never Known Men. I mean, the last book for this vlog, I Have Never Known Men, which shouldn't take me long as well. Last time I read that, I think I literally read it in like a day or 2 days. It was like very gripping. I could not put it down. Guys, I just finished this book. Also, I remembered that it's It's actually called Papisho in like other countries. So if you're confused about what this book is and you can't find it, it's This One Sky Day in the UK and other countries, and then somewhere else it's also in the US, it's Papisho. Oh my god, though, I just finished it and I literally love it so much. This is probably my favourite that I've read so far, which feels crazy because this is the one I was most nervous about reading. Honestly, every page was a delight and I'm trying to figure out why I enjoyed it so much, but I think it comes down to it being like utterly transportive. It is so, like, as soon as I start reading it, I am in this world. I exist with these people and I am like walking around the islands myself, and I just don't get that with that many books anymore. And I just love it. I love the messaging, I love the characters, I love the islands. I wish I could live in this world. And I loved the ending. I loved how it all came together. It just felt really like earned, and it felt beautiful, and it felt really like a good build up, and an easy 5-star. Probably my favourite of the vlog, which is insane. But that does mean we have one last book to read for this vlog, and that is I Have Never Known Men. And I've got all day, so I'm going to sit down and start this book now. So I'll update you when I've read a chunk of it and let you know what I think. I'm having some lunch before I get down to reading, fueling the reading session. This is scrambled egg with cottage cheese. Don't knock it until you try it. I have read the first kind of part of this book. It doesn't actually have chapters. I think it's literally kind of before and after situation, or just in 2 major parts. And the first part's like shorter. It's about 60 pages. So I've just read 60 pages, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. Misa's sitting here keeping me company. She says hello. And I'm loving it. It's great. I can't remember in absolute detail the whole plot. So I basically browsed through the introduction, because there is an introduction in this one. But it's only 188 pages and I'm already about 60 pages through. So I might finish this today. I'm gonna have a little break now and have this tea that I've been having. I'm recently getting into Earl Grey tea and it's absolutely delightful, and I thought I didn't even like it before, but I really actually do like Earl Grey tea. I'm gonna have a bit of a break. I might play some Infinity Nikki because I'm obsessed with that game, and drink my tea. Warm up a bit. It's freezing in here, and then I'll read again later. So I have been reading this book a lot today, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's so good. I'm really loving it. I'm gonna finish it tonight. I'm just gonna get ready for bed now, and then I'll read it before I fall asleep. But I've got only about 60 pages left. Before I forget to mention what it's even about, this is a dystopian story. It's kind of very strangely written. It's kind of written all as one long journal entry about this woman and her very unique experience growing up in a bunker with 40 women, or 39 other women. She was the only child in that bunker. They had no knowledge of why they're in this bunker, why they're being observed by these guards, and she has no knowledge of why she is the only child among these women as well. And it is at times like very reflective, but it is also so gripping. This has been the quickest I've read any of the books in this vlog so far. It's been an absolute breeze to read through because I'm gripped page to page, and I remember how it ends, but I'm like sad and also kind of like looking forward to getting there and seeing what I think. But I will let you know what I think of this in the morning when I finish off this vlog. Good morning, guys. I finished this book yesterday. I read it all in one day. Definitely the most fast moving, kind of like gripping read. Even though it's so, like, it's confusing to describe it as gripping, but it's just that type of book that you cannot put down. If you've not read it, 100% recommend. Another 5 stars for me. So glad I reread this one. And I'm really glad I reread it because of how ambiguous it is about what is happening the whole time, and about the ending. Oh, sorry, me. Click away now if you don't want spoilers for the ending of this book, because I want to talk about it with people who have read it a little bit. So spoilers incoming now, but basically the first time I read this, I obviously was really wondering about what was happening, why these women are in this bunker, and kind of, are they on planet Earth and what's going on, and are they ever going to find out what's going to happen? And then this time reading through, I obviously know that you never find out what's going to happen at all. And I thought I would be like less interested in the mystery of it all, but I'm actually more interested in the mystery the second time through, because I think the first time I was really focused on the kind of emotional journey that the main character goes on, and I was really wrapped up in her thoughts and her feelings and about what everything meant for her, whereas this time I was slightly less wrapped up in that, and I was slightly more intrigued in the mystery in the world, which feels like it should be the other way around. Last time I never went and looked at like what other people thought about the like kind of ending and the ambiguous ending and what actually happened, or like anyone's theories about it, but I feel like I really want to now, because I just think it'd be really interesting to see what other people think and like other people's theories, and I never looked it up before. So I think a lot of people have a lot of different interpretations of this story and of the ending and the kind of the main meaning of this. I think that this story is all about love and about community and friendship, and you know, the message that I really take away from this is all about this young woman who doesn't realize that she has ever loved or been loved, and then only kind of comes to the end of her life and realizes that she has had that all along, and she's like not so different as she thinks that she is. But this book is really filled with melancholy and sadness, and it's very tense, and it's very kind of, it can feel really hopeless at times, but still, to me, the reason why it's one of my favorite books is because it does have, I think, that shred of hope about humanity and everything. Okay, spoilers over for anyone that was flicking through, but actually to end this vlog, I think I'm going to do a little ranking. In the end, I've actually only gotten through about 60% of Words of Radiance. I'm going to have to put that actually at the bottom of this list because I haven't finished it. I feel like I'm not as gripped as the other books that I've been reading for this vlog, and I think it being part of a series is harder for it to say that it's one of my absolute favourite books. Although in general, I do really highly recommend this series. It's one of my favourite fantasy series of all time. Compared to my emotional reaction to reading the other books, it's going to go at the bottom of this list. Next up, in place number 4, is going to be Mrs. Dalloway, and that feels strange, but I feel like this is going to be kind of like a lifelong one, and I also feel like I want to read more of Virginia Woolf as well, because she is going to be one of my favourite authors, and I've read a few books of hers, but I want to read more to put her also more in context. And I love Mrs. Dalloway. These are all 5-star books for me, so don't like take this in any way, but I'm just purely going on like my emotional reactions while reading it. So that's at number 4, and then I think this book is at number 3. It was so gripping, and I did read it in one day, but it didn't stay with me as much as This Is How You Lose a Time War, which is in number 2, meaning that my number 1 favourite book is this one, Sky Day. This one just like made me feel giddy. I just loved this book so much. I enjoyed my reread of this so much, way more than I thought I would. It was actually incredible. If there's one recommendation you can take from me in this video, have it be this one, but no, going in, it's really not for everyone. It is surprising on every page. It's confusing, I think, to some people, unless you kind of know that you can just go with the flow. There is literally so many twists and turns, and I absolutely love this world. It's so beautiful, so imaginative. I love the characters. So I have to say this is my favourite book, which is crazy because I've never been able to say that before. In the comments, please let me know your favourite book. I really want other recommendations. And also, I kind of want to do this video again, to be honest, because I feel like I have so many other favourite books, you know, my top 10 that I would want to reread, and I've just like really fallen back in love with rereading. It's been an amazing vlog to do. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!